Hi everyone! A couple of weeks ago I mentioned that I was going to be doing a stamp series, and when I say stamp series I mean postage stamps for the US mail, and this is that project. So I'm doing the project for my graphic design class, and it's meant to be done completely in Illustrator, so that's what I'm using. And I originally did a few sketches for this, and in the sketches I actually had, I used my Copic markers, and I had a very light pink to very light blue, I think it was R00 and B00, and I had a gradient between those. And if you're familiar with Illustrator, you know that really large gradients don't always look best, so I decided to try and mimic a kind of marker gradient. So that's what I'm doing now. I basically draw the squares as different marker widths, and then I change the opacity setting to a different overlay kind of thing. And here I'm just trying to find a good picture of San Francisco, so that's the one I picked. And I didn't really want to base it on somebody else's skyline, because that's what I'm doing for this project. I'm doing skylines of different American cities. I'm going to be doing San Francisco, St. Louis, Seattle, and I think Dallas. Originally I did New York in the sketches, but New York actually doesn't have a super interesting skyline when you don't have the Statue of Liberty in it. Like, New York just doesn't have a very recognizable skyline, because, like, I'm sure it would be recognizable for New Yorkers, but it's not like super recognizable. So that's, I picked cities that have a kind of interesting skyline and with interesting monuments. So of course San Francisco with the Golden Gate Bridge is pretty interesting. So I started out by doing the outline for the bridge, and in my original sketch I only had the silhouette, and then I had lights on the bridge, which I drew with my white gel pen, and then I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do that in the final piece. So basically what I decided to do was I decided to start with the bridge and draw that outline and draw the lights on the bridge the way I did in the sketch, and then draw the cityscape behind the bridge and just see what was going to be easiest for the eye to recognize. I did unfortunately lose a little bit of footage coming up, so basically what I do is I'm about to finish the lines on the other half of the bridge, and then I add some lights onto the bridge, and I actually end up deleting those lights and adding more hexagonal lights onto the bridge. And I think I actually do that a bit later, because I really wanted everything to be pretty angular in this piece, except for the ropes on the bridge. So that's what I do there, and then I can't remember if I fill in the buildings on tape or not, but yeah, I do. And basically what I start to do is I start adding some details onto the building in the back, because without details on the buildings, it's kind of hard to tell where the bridge is, and it's kind of hard to see even with the lights on the bridge. So I basically start adding things based on the photograph windows and things, and I added a San Francisco text. The font that I'm using is Acier Gray, and I found it on Typekit. One of my favorite things to do is go on Typekit and find new fonts, because I really love finding new fonts. And I saw this font, and it's actually a font that I've liked for a long time, but I couldn't really decide what I wanted to use it with. So I was really excited, really, to finally be able to use this font. The windows aren't exactly specifically based on the photograph. Basically, what I did was I looked at each of the buildings and I kind of tried to figure out what the feeling of the windows were, and just kind of express that in how I drew the windows. So the windows aren't meant to fit the reference photo exactly. They're just meant to kind of capture the feeling that I get when I look at the reference photo. I'd also just like to say that I did this entire piece without a tablet. I did it all with a mouse. So if you're a starting artist and you don't have a tablet, just know that you don't necessarily need one to be able to make art, and you just have to kind of find the right way of making art. So a lot of the times with vector graphics, I don't use a lot of my tablet. I do when I'm inking things, so like for example my Young Justice piece or my Hey Hey piece, I did use my tablet for that because I really enjoy the way things look when they're inked in Illustrator. But for this, all I did was I just used the regular shapes, and I occasionally use the path tool, and I really like the way this piece turned out. I'm really excited about it, and I'm really glad that I'm learning to use Illustrator a little better, because just a few months ago I wasn't confident in using Illustrator at all. Like I had used Illustrator in the past, but I didn't really enjoy it, and it was hard for me to figure it out, but I'm really glad that I'm getting better at it, and in the end I really enjoyed this piece, and I'm really excited to do the rest of the stamp sets. I have to finish them up this week because they are due next Thursday, and I think that might be a little stressful because this did take me about 3 hours to finish. I worked on it for 2 class periods, each is about an hour and a half long, but I hope you enjoyed it, especially since I'm going to be doing it some more. So have a wonderful Saturday and have a great week, and I will see you all next Saturday.